Hey, what's up, kiddos? Trowbro is back with another e-learning with Trowbro, and today we're going to be looking at Charles Schulz's Snoopy. That's right, everybody's favorite beagle dog from the comic strip Peanuts. I'm a huge fan of Charles Schulz and the Peanuts. He's kind of like the grandfather of the Sunday comic strip. I always love reading them. They're super funny, so let's stop talking about it and let's get started.
Alright, so here on my left I got my picture of Snoopy. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the tracing of the simple shapes that make up Snoopy's body, and then I'm going to hide the actual picture. When I go to draw Snoopy, what I'm looking for are the simple shapes that make up his body. I'm not looking for any of the details. Now I'm going to take my pencil and very lightly, I'm not pushing down very hard, I'm going to draw the biggest shapes that I see and kind of work my way down. I'm drawing lightly because I'm going to need to erase some of these lines. I might need to add on to a little bit, but what I've done is I've broken down Snoopy into the simple shapes that make up his body, and so I'm really trying to focus on those shapes first. Now that little plus thing, that's going to help me draw his nose and his eyes and his ear and the little top of his head. It's going to make it a little bit easier because instead of his shape of his head being just one big oval, it's going to be an oval, but then it has like those 4 different parts, because that little plus sign breaks up that oval into 4 separate shapes, and that's going to help me know where to place things. It's called proportions, to get the sizes right in relationship to each other. Now Snoopy's torso, his body, is kind of like a bean shape, and same thing with his feet. His feet look kind of like little ovals, little footballs maybe, and from his head to his body to his torso you basically have little rectangles. Maybe they kind of like curve. Like his neck kind of gets skinnier as it goes into his body, but his feet, though, like his legs, are really just straight lines. Alright, now that I got the simple shapes out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my picture of Snoopy, and I'm going to use those blue lines to help me draw, first, his ear. And I can see that his ear kind of connects to his neck right about there, and kind of curves around, and then from the bottom of his ear it kind of goes up, and you can kind of notice like the top of his forehead goes above the oval that I drew. So I'm going to kind of go up, and it kind of goes right into where his eye is, his left eye. It's kind of like right in between there. Alright, now I'm going to go down to his neck and kind of go from the other way and finish his head. And then once I have his full head done, I'm going to start drawing Snoopy's face. Alright, now Snoopy's nose is right below the little plus sign. So I'm going to draw that. And what's kind of funny about Snoopy is, look, both of his eyes are on the right side of his face. This is kind of Picasso-esque. You know, a little bit of cubism right here, having both eyes on one side of the face. So I'm going to draw that. Very artistic. Way to go, Charles Schulz. I'm proud of you. You're awesome. Now Snoopy's got a little black circle on his ear, so I'm going to draw that. And then once I get that circle done, I can see that there's little bitty shapes, little white shapes in his ear, so I'm going to try to copy that. I think Charles Schulz was kind of going fast with his ink brush and kind of he misses some spots, but that's okay. I think that's part of the style. Alright, he wasn't trying to fill in the whole thing with black, but I'm going to try to copy this the best I can. Alright, from there I'm going to do his collar right here on his neck, which is kind of just a really skinny rectangle that kind of goes across, and then his ear is kind of like a little bitty U right there, kind of below his chin right there, kind of to the right of his nose. Make sure that I try to get that in the right spot. Alright, now his hand is kind of like a U shape. It kind of goes down and then curves back around, and then each one of his fingers is kind of another little U shape too. He has like kind of 3 fingers, it looks like, and so I'm going to kind of draw his little thumb, or maybe that's his pinky. I guess it is technically his pinky. His little pinky is kind of an offshoot. I'm going to get that one, and then it'll be easier to draw the other finger from there. It's always easiest to draw the finger that sticks out the most, like the closest to you. Now we got Snoopy's little bum kind of sticking out, a little curve, a little C shape, and then his tail's coming right out of that. And his tail looks kind of like a paintbrush to me. And I want to try to get that little white shape that's in the inside of his tail the closest I can to it. Now don't forget this is a video, so it's okay if you pause it or you rewind it. If I'm going too fast, that's normal. Just make sure you're drawing lightly, and then when you need to pause it or rewind it, go ahead and do that. Now on to Snoopy's feet. Alright, kind of goes straight down there and curves around, and there's 2 little lines kind of separating his little toes. Make sure you get that. Now Snoopy has a little bit of a shadow coming out of his foot right here, and it's kind of an organic shape, and so I'm going to kind of copy it the best I can. You could tell that Schulz was using like a very skinny little thin brush, a little black brush for his black India ink, and was just kind of like going at it. It's very kind of wispy. I like it. Alright, the same thing with his last foot. It kind of curves around. There's only 1 line for his toes. And then after that, I really have all the components that make up my Snoopy. Alright, now I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I'm going to go over all of my lines that I drew lightly, push down a little bit harder. I'm going to color anything in black that needs to be black, like his nose and his eyes and that ear part. And I'm just going to speed this up so you don't just sit here and watch. Also his collar too. But now my drawing is starting to come alive. It's starting to look a lot like Snoopy. This is definitely a really good part. Now if you wanted to go over this with Sharpie or you could. The nice thing about Snoopy is Snoopy's already white, so there's not a lot to color on this, so your picture is almost basically done. Now my favorite part, kind of the end of the race right here. I can see the finish line, and all I gotta do is erase all of my unwanted lines. That's why drawing very lightly is so important to an artist, so that you can erase any lines that you don't want to see. Now if you push down a little bit too hard, even when you erase, you can still kind of see the lines. So on this picture of Snoopy, since I'm not coloring in, he's going to be white, drawing really light was very important. So I'm going to erase all the unwanted lines, and now you will see that my drawing of Snoopy on the right looks almost identical to the one on the left. And now I am all finished.
Well, kiddos, I hope you had fun drawing Snoopy with me. If you want me to showcase the drawing of Snoopy that you made, have your parents email me right here my email address, and my next e-learning video I will showcase your drawing at the end of my video. Until then, keep drawing.